1,
Do it again.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9.
10.
There are 27 million members of the human race that are trapped in modern-day slavery today. How many of those slaves are working for you? There are three major types of modern-day slavery: forced labor, bonded labor, and human trafficking. This year in Atlanta, there was a conference held that's called Passion, and their Do Something Now project was talking about modern-day slavery, and it was trying to help raise awareness about modern-day slavery and trying to raise money to free these people and give them a normal life. Today I will discuss the three major types and how they are similar and how they are different. The first type of slavery that I'm going to talk about is forced labor. Forced labor is people going against or getting trapped by other people that are taken against their own free will and are forced into intensive and unregulated labor. On the website of the Administration of Children and Families, ACF, it states that people are promised employment and well-being and in different countries, then manipulated and are forced into agriculture and fishing, domestic work, and construction and manufacturing. According to the website Anti-Slavery, the International Labor Organization, ILO, estimates that there are at least 20.9 million people in the forced labor worldwide. Also on the same website, Anti-Slavery, a man named Krzysztof from Poland shares briefly the experience he had in forced labor in the UK. He stated, "I was recruited at a soup kitchen at a park in London. They always target people with drinking problems because we are easier to manipulate, are more easy to make bad decisions by believing their lies. They know we will never claim our rights. I was promised between 50 and 70 pounds a day, but instead was paid virtually nothing. I was tricked twice. The first time I worked for a month without pay, and the second time for 2 months. I was transported to and from jobs, block paving driveways. I wanted to leave, but the gang who employed me were intimidating, and I had heard that other men who tried to leave were beaten up by the gang. Plus, we were in the middle of the countryside, miles from the nearest town." The next type of modern-day slavery I'm going to talk about is bonded labor. Bonded labor is also referred to as debt bondage, and it is the most widely used method. Bonded labor is where, again, people are taken against their free will and are trapped because they owe a certain person, like an employer or a master, a debt of some sort. And to repay them, they have to work in harsh conditions, and often these debts, original debts, grow much higher because they are passed through generation to generation. According to another website, Freedom Center, it states, "Labor traffickers round up desperate laborers in Mexico and Central America and help them enter the U.S., where they then entrap them in bonded labor situations." This just shows us that not only is modern-day slavery real in other foreign countries, but it's very real here in the United States as well. The last type of modern-day slavery that I'm going to be talking about today is human trafficking. Human trafficking is where people of all kinds are trafficked, again, all over the world to different countries or their home countries, and into violence, deception, and coercion. Human trafficking is a multi-billion industry that is growing and is fueled by sexual exploitation. According to Freedom Center again, in 2005, the ILO estimated that the total profits were $28 billion and has grown into a $32 million industry, which is the second to illicit drug sales. Freedom Center also stated that the ILO estimated that of the 2.45 million people that are trafficked at any given moment are girls under the age of 18 for commercial sex exploitation. As I conclude my presentation, let me reiterate that the number of humans that are trapped in modern-day slavery today, men, women, and children all over, are taken and are victims of forced labor, bonded labor, and human trafficking. In the beginning of my speech, I asked you a question: how many slaves work for you? You can find out how many slaves are working for you today at this very moment at slaveryfootprint.org.